Early access is the faithful reward business model. In exchange for supporting a game early on in its development, the consumer is expected to be rewarded for a satisfying final product. This can take years to accomplish. In March 30th, 2013, Valve made its entry into the crowdfunding scene by introducing early access on Steam. This was following the success of the famous Kickstarter program for Star Citizen. Immediately, games like Arma 3 arrived for purchase, however consumers were skeptical. In one form, the question surfaced, why would I pay $30 for a game that isn't even finished yet? Fortunately, the Arma series had an already established community, accepting it in its alpha state, ensuring its successful development. The game today sits at around 30,000 to 40,000 average players, but is in a league of only a few success stories, alongside many failures. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Watchtower, where we ask the question, is it time for Valve to restructure its early access program? Most games have failed to surface from the seemingly endless depth of early access, staying in development for years and years at a time, presenting very little progress. These are usually independent developers who were once modders, creating their industry-first product or standalone version of their previous mods, such as DayZ. Typically, games that do manage to make their way to final release do so missing their most promised features. As time has gone on, the weariness of early access has caught up to consumers, where many have turned away from the program. Rarely, developers are held accountable for failing to fulfill the promises to consumers. Games are often abandoned, with the developers returning under a brand new company presenting brand new products. These products are usually equal or in poorer state than the predecessor, and to my knowledge, there are no protocols in place. There are no warning flags for consumers other than being warned by those who frequently keep track of the industry. This allows for many over the years to ditch their product, making a quick buck, to flee with new projects once they realize they are unable to achieve the results they wanted because it was beyond their ability. However, these practices, although known, are free to be exercised so long as the game makes it past the Steam greenlight process, where gamers, regardless of their Steam profile, can vote to bring a product to Steam. Other titles such as Ark raised their prices before going full release while being identical to the early access state. Continuing onward as a finished product that still suffers from bugs and terrible optimization where the game barely runs at 5 frames per second while in the player-owned base. Its developers were even allowed to bring locked content behind the season pass during its time in early access, but one can say at least it keeps all its funding within the same product. Space Engineers arrived on Steam in early access in October 2013 and has yet to be finished. Unfortunately, that didn't stop its developer King Software House from bringing yet another alpha product to the store later, Medieval Engineers. Is it wrong to consider it unethical for a developer to drain its limited resources on another product without finishing its current one? Promising future releases such as the likes of Starforge are abandoned to develop Reign of Kings, which also goes unfinished without any true reason. Will games like the War Z fail, the survival story suddenly pops up to replace it, being identical in every way possible under the same disappointing eyes. There are not many games published from early access that one can truly call a success story, Ark being one of them. There are many questions, but I can only provide solutions for one single problem: restrictions on what is and what isn't allowed while participating in the early access program. Although highly praised, the Steam refund policy appears to provide aid and harm. If you are unaware to the policy, it is as follows. Upon request via Steam support, you may issue a request for a refund for any title that is within the requested 40 days of purchase and has been played for less than 2 hours. Here's the problem. Developers have already caught up to this policy, ensuring their games are lengthy at the starting phases. What I propose is early access titles play by different rules than the official releases. The first rule: the 2-hour gaming limit is replaced with a 10-hour phase. This is a page I've taken from the EA's Origin Access. This gives you full access to all features, during which time the developer can present to you a hands-on presentation. Number 3. Restrict failed developers from returning to Steam with their products. If a development product has been abandoned and the funds have been taken and the original promise to finish the game has been broken, this allows these individuals from continuing to operate at least for a period of up to a year. Number 4. Do not allow more than one game in early access from the same developer until the current product has been completed. This is an obvious one. It's frequent that independent studios enjoy making separate assets in the same game engine, then bringing that said brand new art to the spotlight to draw more and additional funds. Of course, all I've just said is my opinion from being a longtime supporter of various titles that were ultimately a disappointment. However, I do believe such harsh restrictions would show a level of seriousness for those desiring to make their entry into the gaming industry. Early access is a wonderful crowdfunding idea and always will be. The most negative feedback comes from the constant failure to deliver. Keep in mind, some of the most highlighted moments in PC gaming over the past 4 years have come from generous consumers and hardest working developers seeking to accomplish their dreams. These developers should not be punished for the abuse of others. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is it time for Steam to update their early access program? If you're watching this entire video, leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.